So in the last session, we have seen about various ways how lookup transformations can be configured. We have left with one important topic, as in how to make use of unconnected lookup transformation. As in, usually all the transformations are connected. So how we can make use of lookup as an unconnected transformation? That is something which we have not came across or like did not go through in the last session. So we are going to cover that in current session. So two things what we need to understand is few things rather. Unconnected transformation is a passive. It cannot be active because it is not connected. So that is first thing. It is always passive. The second thing is it is always going to return only single output, as in only we can return one thing. In case we want to return multiple things, we might need to concatenate or do some manipulations in the lookup SQL override and return that port. Probably I'll show you that also in the uh, current session. So first of all, we'll see how to actually make you configure unconnected lookup transformation. So yeah, as usual, we'll create a lookup transformation. So probably I will choose department. So in case, so if we try to use import from this, we will not be able to use it multiple times, as in if the same transformation or lookup need to be used in multiple places, it is not feasible. So for that, to avoid that thing, I am actually importing the definition into the sources, so that we need not import it multiple times. So the table name is department. So this is another, I'll go with test.dept. Test in the sense schema and then dept. So here the best example what I can think of is, yesterday in the previous session, we have seen that corresponding to department ID 10, there were two entries. However, if we configure unconnected transformation, it can only return either of them. It cannot return both of the records. So we will add the lookup transformation into the mapping designer. The definition is available in the source, to source, DEPT. Even if I return all values, it is not going to work. So it has to be an unconnected lookup. Probably I can try to, we will show, I'll show once we were done with unconnected transformation. I don't want to confuse. So we need a department ID. So based on department ID, we are going to retrieve. Don't mind that, okay, I have mentioned unconnected, why I'm connecting. I'm going to delete the link. I have created the link just to ensure the corresponding column is created in the transformation for join condition. So what we would need to return is, we would like to return department name. We were not interested in other two columns, so I am removing those columns because we don't want to build the lookup cache for those records. Now, another important aspect with unconnected lookup transformation is there is something called return. So we should be returning this. In case of connected, no matter we check this or don't check, it doesn't matter because it is connected. And in case of connected lookup transformation, we can retrieve as many number of columns as we need. In case of unconnected, if we try to check the return port on any other column, it will not work. So it can accept only a checkbox of return on only single column. So it is as good as a function. How we are returning. Same way, unconnected lookup is a function which can return a column. So this is must. If without return, it makes no sense of unconnected lookup transformation configuration. So yeah, we have defined the condition. So what usually happens is this is an input port and this is my return port. So using expression transformation, I am going to invoke the lookup transformation. So it is always good to rename the lookup with the name of the table. When we have lesser number of lookup transformations, it will be easy, but when we have more transformations, in order to identify the lookup easily, it is better recommended to suffix the lookup with the name of the table. So I have suffixed with the name of the table. So this is an unconnected and even a passive transformation. So probably I will not pull all the columns into the transformation, expression transformation. I am going to pull only the department ID because based on department ID, I am trying to retrieve the department name. So department name, probably I will. So this is the way to add a new port. DEPT name. The name can be anything. Just that we are binding the value whatever is returned by the lookup transformation to this port, nothing else. So we can configure any length provided we are not truncating it. This length should be greater than or equal to the length whatever is defined in the lookup transformation. Data type also should be same. So department name is string data type. I am defining string. So how to invoke unconnected lookup transformation is, if we go to functions under lookups, if we don't have any lookups, we will not see this visible. So you may find the other lookups also, but make sure that you are using only unconnected lookup. So the syntax would be colon LKP dot lookup name of the lookup. Colon LKP is must. Colon LKP is like we are invoking a lookup transformation and this is the name of the lookup. And number of ports. So in this case, I am accepting only one input port and as in my John condition is only on department ID. So I am going to input department ID and then retrieve the corresponding value and the value will be binded to department underscore name. And this value, whatever is returned, we can actually map it to full name. 1 second, I would have used, okay, perfect. Department name, we are mapping it to full name. So in the previous session, when we made lookup as an active transformation, it was not allowing us to connect from two different transformations. Since this is a passive now, passive transformation, this is a passive. So since passive, we were able to connect to the other transformation using two different transformations. Source qualifier is also a transformation. So in case of active, we either need to pass those ports through the active transformation or that needs to be joined using a joiner. In the yesterday session, we have actually passed it through lookup transformation because two or more employees may be mapped to same department. But if we try to join based on department, it creates inconsistency because it becomes a cross join. It is not uniquely identifying that employee. So if we had we joined based on employee also, then probably we can make use of employee to consolidate active and passive transformations and so on. So in this case, this is passive, passive. We can connect to another, like we can connect two passive transformations to a common transformation. Perfect. So we can save now. Now we'll go to session, which is binded with the mapping. I am refreshing the session. Since we have deleted the lookup, we need to configure the connection again. So the connection is the department is present in test schema. No change in source or target, so we are not going to modify them. I will delete employee data. So it deleted 109. Since the unconnected lookup is passive transformation, it is going to load only 108 now. So let us try to run the session. Okay, it loaded only 108 records. Let's see if it populated the department or not in the employee table. As in full name, we have mapped. So, okay, it is populating IT, executive, all those stuff. We can also validate this thing. Okay, my bad. I did not actually map the department name. Okay, let me try to map it and run it again. Let me delete the data. Commit it. Since we have done some changes, we need to refresh the session. Now let's try to run this. Okay, perfect. It executed. Okay, it got succeeded also. Let's see the data and validate if it is correct or not. So in certain places, full name, which is nothing but department name, it was showing IT and executive. So wherever it is 60, it should be IT. So we can cross-reference that in department table also. 60 and 90, 60 is IT, so 60 is IT, 90 is executive. So this is how we can make use of unconnected transformation. So now let me try to recreate this one as an active transformation and see what happens, if the mapping will be valid or not. So department, return all rows. So if we return all rows, then we will see use all values. We don't need these two ports. Deleting this. Return port, condition, department ID. Ports, return port I have enabled. Let's see what happens. Invalid. Same department ID I am passing. Okay, let me try to delete the link. Okay, just trying to delete the lookup. Still invalid. Why? Let me try to clear locks and then change something and then save it again to understand the, why it is invalid. Let's see the error. It says invalid function. The same thing was valid. One thing I need to do is I need to change the transformation name. It does not go with the same name. The transformation is not present. So let me change it to make it valid when we are invoking lookup. We'll save it. It is still invalid. Why? Invalid function reference. It says. Let's try to validate here. Invalid reference. Same thing. Probably I can make use of creating the this thing again. Lookup department. Obviously, Informatica will not allow now. And another important thing is we cannot switch an active and passive transformation just like that. We need to recreate it. So there is no option to disable these use all values to make it to an static cache, static or passive thing. So right now it is using all values. So only thing what we can do is to make it working is to recreate as a passive transformation. As in, don't check this checkbox. Department. Let us try to do those two changes. Let me add department ID. Delete the link. Let me try to rename that. So another example we can see is wherever 10 is populated, let's see When we use first value, what it shows. When we use last value, what it shows. Use any value, it's up to Informatica. It can choose anything of the matches. Let's try to save them. Yeah, perfect, it was valid. The reason behind was previous thing is active. Active, passive, this became passive, active, passive, it will not work. Passive, passive, perfectly fine. So this is working. So since this is already working, let me try to show, use first value and see what happens. Before that, let me try to delete the data from employee. Commit it. We were using use first value. So the only thing which can help us distinguish the thing is department ID 10. Whoever has department ID 10, whether it shows administration or administration underscore duplicate, that's what we need to see. Okay. We have recreated the lookup, so we need to define the connection also. I'm starting the workflow. One session, so should be fine. Yeah, perfect. It loaded all the 108 records. Let me see corresponding to department ID. Okay, my bad. Okay, I have missed checking the return port. So it will not return anything. We are just invoking. We will make use of upsert logic now. I don't want to delete every time. I'll change it to update here. In the target, we will define. We need to have the insert checkbox also, otherwise it will not work. Update as else insert. Start task. It loaded 108 records. Let us see. Okay, full name populated successfully. Let us see with department ID 10. It is showing administration. If we try to switch that to use last value, it will not show administration again. It is going to show administration underscore DUP now. So that is the biggest advantage of use first value and last value. Based on our choice, we can configure. Based on our requirement, we can configure. Now, since I have upsert enabled, so it should update the data again. So let's try to sort the department ID. Perfect, it is showing administration underscore DUP. So when the lookup cache is built, the first occurrence is administration. So when we use first value, it is returning me administration. When we are using use last value, it is returning me administration underscore DUP. So yeah, this is another thing. So one more thing is we have something called named cache. So what is the purpose of named cache is when we don't want to build the cache again and again, we have some concept called named cache. Lookup cache persistent. So when we check that lookup cache persistent, we are going to see the checkbox cache file prefix name. Persistent means it is going to be stored. It is not cleared after the workflow is completed. So we will give some name here. So we will see when we execute first time, the name with the same name, the lookup file will not be present. So it is going to create the file cache. Just to make sure I am going to distinguish between the lookup name and cache name, we have given this. It is up to your choice. What is the name what we are going to provide? So lookup cache persistent. So when we run for the first time, it is going to create the lookup cache, but going forward, it is not going to create again and again. So we can see that in the session log. So create lookup cache. This is there. Let us see the cache if it got created in the Informatica installation directory. It will be under infra shared, all the things will be. Lookup files. This is one thing, lookup cache. So we have cached with this prefix. So data file and then index file. So let's try to run it again and see what happens. So right now, places, bad files, from where I can navigate to cache files also. So right now the timestamp is 22. Let's try to rerun and see if there is going to be any impact. So before that, let me try to update the full name with some, or probably let me delete the data. Commit it. Let's run and see what happens now. It loaded 108 records. So if we see, the same thing will be there. Using existing cache files, lookup department cache. And we will see that timestamp is still 22. That is the biggest advantage. When our reference data is going to be static, as in best example is if it is a master data, when the cache is not going to be changed or data is not going to be changed, we can persist it so that the cache is not regenerated every time when the workflow is triggered. Now that we have seen about this persistent, let me delete this lookup. Now let's see how to populate two different columns data, retrieve two different columns data and then populate it accordingly. So for that, probably I will try to cross-reference on the employee table itself. Then probably we can populate two things like job ID and salary. Or probably I'll try to pick something like email and phone number. So now that this is one popular interview questions, like how you can make use of, probably let me try to show you how it is going to happen with connected lookup transformation. Then probably we can see how to do it with unconnected. So in case of connected, we are looking upon same employees table. So since this is a connected transformation, I need not bother about the name, but then it is good to name it according to the name of the table, so that sometimes if the table is present in different schemas, it will be easy to determine in the session when we are configuring the connections, so which schema it should point to. So we were interested in populating email and phone number, so we can delete all the other stuff. So based on employee ID, I'm going to retrieve email and phone number using a connected lookup. So this is connected lookup. Condition employee ID. When the employee ID in the input record is matching with employee ID in the reference data, we are trying to retrieve email ID and phone number and then going to populate email and phone number here. So by default, when we don't populate that, let's see what happens. Then when we populate, what happens? So we cannot save like this. It says invalid because this does not have any output port. Temporarily, I'll populate in full name. So when I run this one, So by default, though upsert is enabled, it is going to update null values for those two columns. So let's see that. So before executing, let me show the employee table. So we have got the phone number and email populated here. Now let me try to refresh mapping, then configure the target connection. So look up employees. So it is actually present in HR schema. So I'm going to use Oracle PWC, and then here I am going to prefix HR.employees because the schema owner is HR. Let's try to run this. So right now still we have not populated email and phone number. So based on upsert logic, that should be updated null. Or even I did not connect, so it might have the same data. Since we did not connect, actually what happens is in case of Informatica, it generates update statement corresponding to the columns only we have connected. Upsert statement and even insert statement. If we see update, it is not setting email as well as our phone number. So let me try to manually. Okay, I'll delete the data. What is there? I'm deleting the data, committing it. I'll run the session. After running the first time, it is not going to populate any value for those two columns. Let me try to see the data in employee now. We should not see any data. Okay, everything got rejected. Could be some constraints. Let me try to remove those constraints from the database. Okay, this is a good use case. So in case of rejections, how to identify the rejection? If you go to session log, type E, it is going to show, it is saying cannot insert null into employee email. So temporarily to make it null, so I am going to remove those constraints defined on the table. So test schema, employee. So there are two ways. One way, if you know the constraint name, we can delete it. So email. Another way is we can click on this unique constraints. No, check constraints. Okay. This is my constraint. It is a check constraint actually. Cannot be null. We have flipped that. Yeah, that constraint is dropped. Another thing, another way of doing is that let's suppose I'll do it. I'll show you this way. Another way of dropping the constraint is alter table employee drop constraint name. Okay, my bad. That is not the constraint name. Yeah. So now, if we refresh this job ID constraint will be revoked or removed. Perfect. Now let's try to run last name and hire date. Those we are not setting null. So let's try to run and see what happens. Perfect, data got loaded. This time let's try to view the data in employee table. It should not have email and phone number. Perfect. Now we are populating that using a connected lookup, both email and phone number. So in case of connected, we can connect any number of fields. There are no restrictions. Whenever there are changes, we need to refresh session and then run. Now, since the upset thing is configured, it is going to update. It is going to update those two columns now. Perfect. I got email populated, phone number populated. So this is how a connected lookup works. The same thing, let me make it to unconnected. It is not big deal. So we just need to remove these things. So if we are trying to return multiple things, it is not going to be achievable using a single port. As in we cannot use two return things. The only thing is we have to use a custom port. So I'm going to create a custom port, and then I am actually trying to suffix that with some length 100. I'm going to return this custom port. We are going to define an SQL override here. So here custom, I am going to define the property for custom. Okay, how to define custom? So custom is nothing but a concatenation of, it's not an actual column in the table. It is a concatenation of email and then phone number. Okay, HR.employees. Phone, let me see what is the column name. It is phone underscore number. So this is my custom column. So the custom column is having both email address as well as phone number. This is how we are going to build cache. This value we will return rather than returning either email or phone number when we have to return multiple things. In the we need to make use of expression to call invoke as well as to split both of them also. So we are going to make use of this. So custom column. Expression transformation in order to invoke lookup as well as split the columns also. So we are as in looking up based on employee ID. Expression transformation cannot be unconnected. So based on employee ID, we were invoking custom column. I'll change that to variable port because this is a raw data. It is a concatenated value of two columns. So we are going to use a variable port. So we are going to invoke the lookup employees based on employee ID. So the returned value is going to have two things. One is email and another is phone number. How to retrieve email using a concept called substring and instring. SUBSTR, substring of custom. So email is present in the first part of the string. So we are going to retrieve that thing. So from custom column from 1 to the position where we find underscore. Till that position, we are trying to populate the email data. The same thing reverse would be So we are going to retrieve the data from the position underscore plus one. So underscore is not the correct position from where we want to retrieve phone number. So from underscore plus one to length of the string. How length of the string, no, not required. So from underscore plus one, we are trying to populate everything. It's fine. So we have got two ports. One is from one to the position where underscore is found, and the second is from underscore plus one, next position. So we are going to populate these two fields now. Before that, let me update the columns null. Test schema. Update employee set email equal to null, comma phone number equal to null. Both the statements are not yet records updated. I am committing it. If we try to view the data, so right now email is not populated, phone is not populated. But then using a custom port, we are trying to concatenate or kind of store both the records information that is being actually splitted in the expression transformation. Let's try to quickly check if the connections. Yeah, connection is perfect. HR.employees. Perfect. Let's try to execute this session and see what happens. Succeeded. So prior executing the workflow session, we don't have any data for email and phone number. After executing, let's see what happens. Email is populated as well as phone number is populated. Oh, this is a typical interview question you can expect in interview, wherein how we can populate two columns using an unconnected transformation. Using a connected transformation, it is very easy. Using unconnected transformation, we need to make use of lookup SQL override, where what are the columns we want to return or populate in the target, concatenate them with a proper indicator which can be used to split the columns. So here I am aware that underscore is not part. So if in case if underscore is actually part of data, kindly make use of another character which can probably be used to identify the email part as well as phone number part. If email is having underscore, again it returns inconsistent results. So in that case, probably you can make use of a combination of characters like hash and dollar, or like combination of characters can be used, special characters can be used to uniquely identify the strings email and phone number that can be splitted in the expression transformation, and we can populate them in the target.